OCR Nationals AO2 Task 2, Part 2, Sending and Receiving Emails. In this task, all you have to do is show that you know how to use email software and that you know how to do it in an appropriate manner. So, the first thing that you need to do is show that you received an email, and it's very important in this task that your annotations are explaining what you're doing very well. So, your teacher would have sent you an email. You just need to print screen it and show that you received the email. It's very important that you also show how you're saving email attachments. So I always ask my students to save the attachment that is attached to the email, and depending on what email your teacher has sent you, it could be a spreadsheet, it could be an image such as a logo, and it could be a database file. Just show that you're saving it, and then take another screenshot showing where you saved it. Now, the important thing about emails is to understand that email attachments can carry viruses. So it's very important that you know how to scan for viruses once you've saved an attachment. So in this example here in the screenshots, you can see that by clicking on the file menu after choosing a file, so first choose the file that you want to scan, and then click on the file button and then scan for viruses, which should bring this pop-up here showing that the computer is scanning for viruses on the file that you selected. Now, the important thing in this task is that you know the difference between replying to an email, forwarding an email, and composing an email. And a lot of students make the mistake of getting the three confused. The original email that your teacher sent you, it would be a good idea to reply to that one. You don't have to reply to that. You could reply to a friend's email. But the most important thing is in your reply that you give a relevant message. Usually, well, always, when you reply to an email, the word RE, the letters RE pop up in the subject as you reply. Your teacher's original email will remain underneath, and the reply that you write should always appear on top of the email you received. Best thing to do, kill two birds with one stone by possibly thanking your teacher for the email, letting him know what you're going to do with the attachment, and it would be a good idea for you to discuss and warn your teacher about the dangers of email attachments and viruses that could be attached to them. Sending and creating emails. Now, this is different from replying because you are creating a completely new email by clicking either on new email or compose email, depending on what your email software has. And in this section here, you must remember that when creating an email, every email must have a recipient, so that's the person that you send an email to. It must have a subject, which explains what the email is about in a few words, and then it must have a relevant message. So whatever you're going to write your message, make sure you have a subject to match it. Okay, sending to more than one person. The only difference is, as you can see, the first recipient here is split up by a semicolon, and the second person is written in, and then another semicolon, you could write a third person in. Just remember, when actually creating your emails, that the message that you write could literally be about anything. It's a good idea to keep it business related or work related, according to what your tasks are. So if it's an email about, if it's an email for your school task, you could write about a memo that you created, showing people the example of what a memo should look like. Or maybe you could ask a friend to proofread one of your documents that you've created and ask for their advice. Forwarding an email is the act of taking an email that someone sent you and then passing that on to someone else. The thing that people always get confused with this is that sometimes they push reply and think it's a forward. The forward button is different from the reply button. As I say, a reply will send the email back to the person who originally sent you an email. The forward button will take an email received from someone else and will pass it on to someone else. So when you click on the forward button, you have to choose who you want to forward it on to. And as you can see, instead of RE, the letters FW, or in some email software, FWD or FD will appear, which means forward. The important thing when carrying out this task is, whatever it is that you're about to forward, you should write a message to that person explaining why you're forwarding it. So again, the original email that was sent is usually underneath, and most email software create a line that shows the email underneath, and you write your message on top explaining why you think it might be useful for that person to see that particular email.